You can't manage what you don't measure, and this simple sentence is truly at the heart of effective money management. Think about it. If you don't measure your calories, you can't really control your health, and if you don't measure your steps, you have no idea how active you are. Money works in exactly the same way. Without measuring it, you're essentially walking blindfolded through your finances. Every month, millions of people earn salaries, working hard and believing they're making progress. But by the end of the month, their bank account is almost empty, with bills piling up and unexpected expenses appearing. There's no clue where all that money actually went, leading to constant confusion and wondering, where did my money go? That confusion comes directly from not having a budget, which is why budgeting is so crucial. Now, here's the important part. Budgeting is not about restriction, despite what many people might think. Many hear the word budget and immediately think about cutting out coffee, never eating out, or living a boring life. They imagine it as punishment or sacrifice, but that's simply not true. Budgeting is not about saying no. Instead, budgeting is about choosing when to say yes, giving you the freedom to make intentional financial decisions. Budgeting is about freedom. Freedom from stress, freedom from living paycheck to paycheck, and freedom from worrying if your card will decline. With a budget, you control your money, but without a budget, your money controls you. Let's use a simple analogy. Imagine your income as a team of workers. Every dollar is a worker that shows up at the beginning of the month, ready for their assignments. If you don't assign them jobs, they'll wander around aimlessly, some going to fast food, some to online shopping, and others disappearing on small daily expenses. But if you give each dollar a purpose, rent, food, savings, fun, suddenly, your money becomes organized. It's like an army marching in one direction, efficient and building something substantial for you. Consider two people with the same salary, let's say $3,000 a month. One never budgets. They pay rent, buy groceries, grab coffee daily, and shop during sales, wondering why they have nothing left at month's end. The second person, with the same $3,000, makes a simple budget, assigning funds for rent, groceries, fun, and savings. Same income, but completely different outcomes. One ends the month broke, the other with money saved and a plan for the future. That right there is the undeniable power of budgeting. Here's another way to look at it. A budget is like a GPS for your money. Without it, you're just driving around with no map, no destination, and no idea where you'll end up. You might get lucky and arrive somewhere nice, but most of the time, you'll run out of gas before you get anywhere meaningful. With a budget, you're still free to choose your destination, but now you have a map. You know the roads, the stops, and you can adjust if something unexpected happens, making the journey easier and less stressful. Budgeting also gives you crucial awareness. Have you ever bought something small, like a $5 coffee, thinking it's nothing, just a few bucks? But if you do that every day, that's $150 a month, or $1,800 a year. A budget makes you see those hidden patterns. It shines a light on the small leaks that quietly sink your financial ship. And let's be clear, a budget is not a prison. It doesn't lock you in. It actually gives you permission to spend, but with intention. If your budget says you have $200 for fun this month, you can spend that money guilt-free. Go to the movies, buy that new game, enjoy a night out, no guilt, because it was planned. That's the crucial difference between random spending and intentional spending. The truth is simple. Wealth doesn't start with investments, business, or side hustles. Those are later steps. Wealth starts with control, and control fundamentally starts with budgeting. Before you dream about millions, plan passive income, or chase opportunities, you must first know exactly where your money is going. So let's fix the biggest money mistake people make, not measuring. If you don't measure it, you can't manage it, but the moment you start budgeting, you shift from chaos to clarity, from stress to freedom. You're no longer a passenger, you're the driver, and your money finally works for you, instead of the other way around. Now that we know why budgeting matters, let's look at how to build one. There's not just one way to budget. Different methods work for different people. Today, we'll cover 3 popular methods: the 50/30/20 rule, zero-based budgeting, and the envelope method. Then, I'll show you how they work with a $3,000 monthly income example. First, the 50/30/20 rule. This simple budget divides your income into 3 categories. 50% goes to needs: rent, food, bills, transportation. 30% goes to wants: things you enjoy but don't need, like eating out or subscriptions. 20% goes to savings or paying down debt. It's straightforward and easy to remember. For a $3,000 income, that's $1,500 for needs, $900 for wants, and $600 for savings. Its strength is simplicity. You don't track every purchase, just balance the big categories. However, it can be too general. Some people's rent alone exceeds 50%, requiring adjustments. Second, the zero-based budget. This detailed method assigns every dollar a purpose. Your income minus expenses should equal 0. This means every dollar has a job, whether for bills, groceries, savings, or investing. With $3,000, you might assign $1,000 for rent, $500 for groceries, $300 for transportation, $200 for utilities, $500 for savings, $200 for fun, and $300 for debt payments. The total equals $3,000 exactly, leaving nothing unplanned. This method offers maximum control but requires the most effort. You track every dollar, often using apps like YNAB or spreadsheets. Third, the envelope method. Traditionally, you'd put cash into physical envelopes labeled for categories like groceries or gas. When an envelope is empty, you stop spending in that category. Today, people use separate accounts or prepaid cards for a digital version. For example, put $400 in a groceries account. Once it's gone, it's gone. This system is great for discipline, forcing you to stop overspending. But it can feel restrictive and may not suit a fully digital lifestyle. Now, let's apply these to a real scenario. Imagine Peter, who earns $3,000 monthly but is always broke by the 20th. His money goes to eating out, Amazon orders, and high credit card bills. Let's test Peter's $3,000 with each method. With the 50/30/20 rule, $1,500 for needs like rent, utilities, and groceries. $900 for wants like dining out and hobbies, and $600 for savings. This method immediately creates savings for Peter. With zero-based, he assigns specific amounts: $1,000 rent, $500 groceries, $300 transportation, $200 utilities, $200 fun, $300 debt, and $500 savings. Every dollar is tracked, revealing his weak spots, like overspending on dining out. With envelopes, Peter sets aside $500 for food, $200 for fun, and $400 for shopping. Once an envelope is empty, he must wait until next month. This prevents impulse buys like blowing $700 on Amazon because his shopping envelope won't allow it. Each method works differently but shares the same goal: awareness and control. For Peter, choosing just one method transforms his finances. Here's the lesson. Budgeting isn't one size fits all. The right method depends on your personality. For something easy, use the 50/30/20 rule. If you love details, try zero-based budgeting. If you struggle with discipline, go with envelopes. The tool doesn't matter as much as the habit. Use a notebook, spreadsheet, or an app like Mint or YNAB. What matters is starting. Budgeting is the foundation of financial success. Once you know where your money goes, you can control, improve, and grow it. Without a budget, even $10,000 a month can disappear. With a budget, even $3,000 can build wealth. Remember Peter's story. The difference between broke and wealthy isn't income, it's control. And control begins with budgeting.
We've covered the mindset and the methods of budgeting. Now let's make it practical. Because knowledge is great, but without action, nothing changes. Today, you don't need stacks of envelopes or complicated ledgers. Technology has made budgeting easier than ever. So let's walk through some of the most popular tools and then test them with Peter's $3,000 example. First, the simplest tool, Google Sheets or Excel. Spreadsheets may not sound exciting, but they give you complete flexibility. You can set up columns for categories like rent, groceries, utilities, fun, and savings. Then, every time you spend money, you enter it in. At the end of the month, you see exactly where your money went. Pros? Free, customizable, and visual. Cons? Manual input. You need discipline to log your expenses daily or weekly. Second, budgeting apps. Two of the most popular are Mint and YNAB. You need a budget. Mint is free. It connects to your bank account and automatically tracks transactions. It shows you categories, charts, and alerts if you overspend. It's great for beginners because it does most of the work for you.
YNAB is paid about $14.99 per month, but it's much more powerful. YNAB is based on the zero-based budgeting method.
Every dollar you earn must be assigned to a category. It forces you to plan ahead and teaches financial discipline. Many people say YNAB changed their financial life. Other options include apps like Pocket Guard, Good Budget, and Every Dollar. The best choice depends on your style. Third, the digital envelope system. Remember the envelope method we discussed? Some banks and fintech apps now let you split your money into buckets or spaces. For example, you might have one sub-account for groceries, one for travel, one for rent. When the money in that bucket is gone, you stop spending. It's the old envelope system, but with no paper, no cash, and no mess.
Now let's test these tools with Peter's $3,000 example again. In a spreadsheet, Peter creates categories: rent, $1,000 utilities, $200 groceries, $500 transportation, $300 fun, $200 shopping, $300 debt, $300 savings, $200.
Each category gets a column. Each purchase gets logged. At the end of the month, Peter sees that he actually spent $650 on groceries, which explains why his savings fell short. With that data, he adjusts.
In Mint, Peter connects his credit card and bank account. The app shows him 40% of his income goes to rent and bills, 25% goes to shopping and restaurants, 15% goes to debt, 10% goes to savings, 10% goes to fun and other. Seeing that 25% of his income disappears into Amazon and dining out is a wake-up call.
In YNAB, Peter assigns every dollar at the start of the month. $200 to groceries, $50 to gas, $20 to subscriptions, $100 to debt, $50 to savings, and so on.
Halfway through the month, YNAB warns him, groceries overspent by $75. Move money from another category. Peter learns to adjust instead of swipe blindly. Here's the key lesson. No matter which tool you choose, budgeting only works if you commit to it.
If you're disciplined and love spreadsheets, Excel or Google Sheets is perfect. If you need automation, Mint is your friend. If you want control and are willing to pay, YNAB will transform you. If you struggle with overspending, digital envelopes are a lifesaver.
But the tool doesn't matter as much as the habit. The real win comes from tracking your money consistently.
Let's go back to Peter. After 2 months of budgeting, Peter starts noticing changes.
In month 1, he overspent on food and shopping. In month 2, with awareness, he cut restaurant spending by $200 and redirected it to debt. By month 3, he saved $500 without earning a single dollar more. This is the magic of budgeting. It's not about making more money, at least not at the beginning. It's about making the money you already have work smarter. Budgeting creates confidence. It creates stability. And most importantly, it creates options. When you have savings, you can handle emergencies, say yes to opportunities, and eventually start investing. Final thought. Wealth doesn't start with investing, crypto, or stocks. It starts with clarity, and clarity begins with budgeting. Remember this, a budget is not about saying no. It's about saying yes, yes to financial freedom, yes to your goals, yes to your future. So, start today. Choose one method, Pick one tool and begin. Because if Peter can do it with $3,000, you can do it with whatever you earn. And 5 years from now, your future self will thank you.